Aoe2's new automatic scouting feature leaves us with a question. Is this something only new players will use, or will expert players be able to exploit it as well? In Hidden Cup 3, the most watched Age of Empires 2 tournament we've ever had, there were a few instances where Age of Empires 2 experts actually used it. So let's take a look at these instances and see how it's used and whether they actually got any benefit for it, or if they just clicked the button and it didn't really do anything for them. And be warned, if you haven't finished watching the games yet, there will be spoilers. First, we know when the players use this feature because we're able to parse the recorded game files. Every player action is stored in the file, so whether you want to count the number of times they do a flank formation or check the timestamps for when they do auto-scouting, we can do it with our rec parsers. So everyone should go check out aocrecs.com if you want to see more statistics from recorded games. There's a huge database with millions of recorded game files that have been analyzed, and you get some really interesting stats from them. Also, the file format is documented on this Japanese website with a little sheep on it, and oh, that sheep's just the cutest thing ever. In this game, we have Celeste playing as Vlad Dracula against Mr. Yo playing in the blue as Alaric the Goth, and Celeste is going to be our auto-scout player here, and he's going to toggle that around 1511, so we'll fast forward to that point and see what he does with it. Okay, so we're getting close to that auto-scout time. In this game, both players just went straight for a fast castle with no army, as it's going to be a bit of a scout fight here. As Celeste does have slight HP advantage now, he takes the hill, gets a hit on Yo's scout, and he's going to come in and win this scout fight here. Now he has 4 HP on that scout, so it's not going to be useful in any type of fighting later on. And he'll see that Mr. Yo completely walled, not making any army. And same thing for Celeste himself, completely walled, just straight fast castling on Gold Rush. And as we head over towards 1511 and check out the scouting, we see Celeste has scouted most of the map. He knows his opponent is making archers going archery ranges and he can't get into his base. And it'll be about 1 minute from now. We'll just let that scout fast forward. Double checks the archery ranges again. We get to 15 minutes. We see the scout comes up onto this hill here. And auto-scouting, boom, there it goes. You kind of see how it went on a weird different path there. We'll see if this continues or if Celeste reorders it. So it looks like it's auto-scouting coming over here, and then it just kind of gets stuck in that forest. I don't know if it got stuck or if Celeste like ordered it to move, so he might have canceled the auto-scout command here. Anyway, that was not a good example. He just kind of did it and then forgot about it until the scout got stuck. And eventually he's just going to move the scout again and have it come back to the middle of the map, where it will just sit there for the rest of the game and pretty much not move as he comes in at the front and cleans up his opponent with some scorpions. It's not a very well used example, as Celeste just left his scout here to die to some crossbowmen eventually, but it does kind of show the situation in which you might want to use the auto scout. When it's at low HP, your opponent is fully walled, and you're not really going to use the scout for anything else. So in this next game, we have a Mayans mirror matchup between the Viper playing as Saladin and Mr. Yo, again playing as Alaric the Goth. Interestingly enough, the Goth's player is playing as the Mayans. So Viper will use this a couple times, starting around 25 minutes in the game, and then later around 35 minutes. So we'll fast forward to those auto-scouting attempts. Okay, so here we see the Viper is up to Castle Age and is walled, and Yo is kind of sneaking his army around the side. This Eagle, just on 3 HP, out here not doing anything. So here Viper, this is the first time he turns on this auto-scout around 25 minutes. And we'll see it's auto-scouting, and it kind of runs over here by Yo's archers, which is kind of bad trying to get that black area, but it might run into the archers. So we see Viper actually manually moves it back, and then activated the auto-scout again, and it's just going to leave it scouting for a bit. And it looks like it's going to try to find this tiny bit of black area at the back of Viper's base, so not something that's very useful there. But now it's going to come over here and scout the corner. So we'll see Eclipse and find that there's nothing there other than a wolf. And it will now have to path itself back through this gate to go outside of his base. Just to get over here, scout that black area. Now it's going right here. Oh, it's just a magnet for all those little black areas. There's the extra gold there, but I think he'd already scouted that. Now it's just gonna sit here. It looks like Viper manually had moved it again, and around 3 more minutes from now, it'll go back to being on auto scout again. It's in the line of sight, but it's not attacking. It must be still on stand ground stance. And as the Viper hits the Imperial Age, he will again notice that the scout is standing down here, idle, and he just has it auto-scout again. It goes straight, again, for the corner of the map to find that black area, and next decides going to run straight into Mr. Yo's base, trying to find this black area. Now, the only black area on the map is back here, behind Yo's base, so the scout pretty much has no choice but to run through there to get to it. And it's just going to come in here and pretty much die to the TC castle and tower fire right away. Ooh, so not too useful there. It looks like Viper had kind of stopped it from auto-scouting at some point, and he kind of missed that TC going up, even though we knew to send the plumes there, but that wasn't because the scout scouted it. He could have just palisade scanned and seen that was there anyway. So not much benefit to the Viper there, but again, it was something he did kind of try out when the scout was pretty useless. He did see that there at least wasn't an extra gold in the back corner. But yeah, not too much use from it there. And here we have a game in the finals between the Viper playing in the green as Saladin again, and Hera playing in the blue as Kotjan Khan. And around 18 minutes into this game, Viper is going to be turning on his auto-scouting. So here we have the Viper just leaving his scout completely idle at this side of the map. Let's see, he needs to micro some galleys on the water, but not too much going on over there. He's just pretty much leaving his scout idle for a long time around. Yeah, we still have a few minutes before he starts auto-scouting. We'll see if he moves it before then. Now there's a bit of galley micro he's doing over here, and yep, he's going to manually move it back here across the back of the map, as he's probably paying attention mostly to his galleys down there. Just gonna move it around here a bit, discover that stone. Come back, and now just leave it idle again. So we do see even the Viper has lots of idle time on his scout just sitting here doing nothing. And there we go, he activates the auto-scouting. And what is the scout going to find? He's going to try to just go to this black area, go up here across the top of the map. Viper is able to micro his galleys, and there we go, he discovers an extra gold. So finally we have an instance of a scout discovering something. The auto-scout finds the extra gold for the Viper, finds that Hera isn't walled here, actually gets into Hera's base. Now see, Hera sees the scout. How difficult will it be for him to kill it? As while Viper is not paying attention to his scout, he's able to pay attention to his galley micro. And the scout's going to run here into Hera's farms. Let's see, now I wonder if Viper has noticed this yet, or if he's still leaving it on auto-scout. He has a good chance for Hera to kill it, just trap it by that lumber camp. But Hera, maybe he had slightly noticed it, but then turned away. Scout just keeps on going, goes for that black area. It looks like it's still auto-scouting, because it's kind of just going straight for the black areas. Yeah, it's going straight for this corner here, scouting all the black areas it can there. And it can't actually get out of Hera's base right now. And he's not like looking for weak villagers or anything on the farms, so I think this is still auto-scouting. We just see Viper still microing his galleys on the water. Aw, so nice to have extended feudal galley micro. And there the scout finally is going to run into the town center and die. So, not the most useful thing, but we do see a situation there where Viper had lots and lots of idle time, where even the best player in the world leaves his scout to sit idle and do nothing while trying to micro on other tasks. And when he did put it on auto-scout, he does now see there's a bit of an extra gold there. And he did at least see Hera wasn't walled briefly before the scout ended up getting into his base. Now Viper does eventually end up winning water, so that extra ability to pay attention to his ships and help micro probably did end up helping him out quite a bit. Especially since it's going to be galley micro, since the Viking player can only train galleys. But we'll see Viper is pushing the docks, gets pushed back, and still has control of the water as he gets into Hera's base. I don't think the game will last long enough for Hera to take that gold. Looks like Viper is winning pretty convincingly. Now the one thing I kind of have seen people mentioning is that auto-scouts like to head to the right corner. I mean, they like corners a lot, but especially this right corner. So we see the scout did hit this gold up here, but missed scouting these two golds over here. We can't see the fog of war because the game's ended now. But with this, Viper eventually did send some villagers back here to tower Hera's gold here. And then he can be pretty confident that Hera had no gold sources since he saw these two golds in his base and was able to come around and hit this side gold with towers and could see Hera wasn't up here taking this gold. So anyway, I think the auto-scout actually was pretty effective in this game. Didn't really have much of an effect in the other two, but here I think Viper used it pretty well. And it's hard to see what the effects are, because most of the effect is just Viper able to pay more attention to his ships and his galley micro, instead of just leaving the scout idle out here doing nothing. But from the looks of it, this was actually a pretty good use of auto-scouting from the Viper. So anyway, that's how auto-scouting was used in Hidden Cup 3 by the best players in the world in pretty much the most watched tournament we've ever had. So, hope you guys enjoyed that. Thank you all very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.